Hello, my name is Raquel Sanchez. I'm a lecturer in the Department of Business Organization and member of the Research Center on Production Management and Engineering at the Universitat Politécnica de Valencia. And in this presentation, which is part of the Business Continuity Managers Training Platform project funded by the European Union, best practices related to crisis management will be shown. The learning output of this presentation covers the description of the two best practices related to crisis management. The presentation is structured as follows. Firstly, there is an introduction describing about crisis management. The second and third sections describe two best practices related to crisis management to finish in section 4 with the main conclusions. Crisis management is the employment of tactics and strategies developed to help an organization cope with a sudden disturbing event that threatens to harm the organization or its stakeholders. Defining best practices in crisis management is a proactive and strategic approach to handling unforeseen events. It provides a roadmap for organizations to navigate crises effectively, minimize disruption, protect stakeholders, and emerge stronger from challenging situations. The first best practice is related to setting up a crisis team. First, in 2015, with a subsequent scandal in 2018, Volkswagen faced a crisis after it was revealed that it had installed secret software that made engines appear cleaner in tests than on the road. Oliver Larkin, head of the investor relations team, said, "As a company, we immediately set up a working group with representatives from the communication side as well as the technical side and the legal side that assessed the information as it came out, and these people were working 24 hours per day, 7 days per week. The crisis team focused on messaging, brand reputation, and relationships with the major investors, while other responsibilities were sidelined. Experts and external consultants also participated in the effort." This example highlights the importance of setting up a crisis team as best practice. It's a crucial step in ensuring an effective and coordinated response to negative situations. The composition of the team, their roles and responsibilities will vary based on the organization size, the sector or industry, and the specific needs. Although organizations have a designated crisis management team, it's recommendable to define smaller teams focused on specific issues. It's important to give team members the resources they need, such as qualified outside experts. Finally, it is worth mentioning that cross-functional teams are often highly effective. Smoldering crises are those events that start out as business as usual, evolve into small internal problems, slowly become public to stakeholders, and over time escalate to a crisis as a result of inattention by management. According to the Institute of Crisis Management, almost 3/4 of business crises fall in the smoldering category. For this reason, it's so important to identify the existing risk of potential crises and anticipate and plan to mitigate or prevent them. For example, take facilities physical security measures in locations prone to natural disasters. Consider whether there are nearby organizations or infrastructure that could have a disaster that could affect your business facilities, for example, a chemical plant. Consider if your business sites are in areas prone to political or civil unrest. Anticipate legal or regulatory changes that could disrupt your business. Consider highly sensitive information hosted on the company system, for example, personal data. And finally, consider which services or products failure could seriously harm your business. As a conclusion, it is worth mentioning that the first best practice is focused on setting up a crisis team that is vital to ensure a swift, well-coordinated, and effective response during challenging situations, ultimately safeguarding the organization's stability, reputation, and the well-being of its stakeholders. The second best practice is related to proactively address and mitigate potential escalation, as increased awareness allows for early intervention, strategic planning, and effective communication. This proactive approach is essential for preserving organizational reputation, minimizing negative impacts, and fostering resilience in the face of evolving challenges. And with the references of this learning material, the presentation is finished. Thank you very much for your attention.